everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope that you guys are having a wonderful day. It is February 14th, so if you celebrate Valentine's Day, happy Valentine's Day. It's also our 22nd wedding anniversary today, and it's been a really nice day. I got the snow I wanted, sort of. I woke up about 3 a.m. and there was snow on the ground, and it was snowing pretty hard at the time. And then when I got up later on about 7, it had rained. It turned to rain, so it melted all our snow. But we're supposed to be getting some this afternoon, which it is probably, it's supposed to start raining about 1. It's 12:23 now. So about 1, 2, it might be raining, and then it's supposed to turn into snow again. So I'm excited. This will be the second part of the Dear Diary series. I did talk to Letty from Clean to Christ, and I've also talked to Lori from Life on Foothill, and I talked to them about, getting some questions that if they had any ideas, or if any of you have any questions that you would like me to answer, or even just questions that you think of that you would have liked to ask someone, or that you would want someone to know about you, like family, your friends, whatever. And Letty did give me a couple. And so I'm going to answer one today. And the one I'm going to answer, the reason I'm going to choose that one is because it kind of goes along with today being our anniversary. And it just, like that dream home you'd like and all of that type of stuff. So her question is, if money was no object and you could live anywhere in the world, where would you choose? Now, my younger self, way back in, probably my teen years and maybe early 20s, when I was still kind of in like the college phase, I think I probably would have chosen somewhere in the city, maybe in California, because I thought about going to school there. I also thought about going to school in Texas to a couple of the Christian colleges. I had also thought about living in Denver, which me and my husband did live there for a while. And I love it. I mean, it's a beautiful place and everything, but now, and even in over the last 17 years, maybe longer, the city life just doesn't give that same pull for me. Also, I always thought about, well, if I left the country, where would I go? And there's places that I would like to visit. I don't know if there's anywhere I'd like to live, outside of the States. I don't know. I've only been outside of the United States into Juarez, Mexico for Vacation Bible School I helped. That's like the furthest I've ever been out of the States. I haven't even been through all the states yet. I've been to maybe like 1, 2, probably 3 outside of, 4, I guess. 1 I don't remember because I was 2 outside of New Mexico. So I'm not a very seasoned traveler. So, it was to say, like, from what I've seen on movies and stuff like that, there's so many beautiful places across the United States, places that are in the UK or Italy or Spain, or all these beautiful places. But when I thought of the places that brought my heart joy and made me feel good, and made me feel peace and calm and just being in the presence of the Lord, I don't know if I would say, I don't know that I have a specific town or city or village or anything. Possibly, I don't know, but it'd probably be right where we're at, or maybe not right here, but in northern New Mexico. I think of the place that we used to go camping up in home in New Mexico, which is near Mora's about 30 minutes north of my hometown. And where we are now, we are on the other side of the mountains from that area. So if we went over the mountains, we could probably be there in, I don't know, it'd probably be a straight 20-minute drive if the terrain wasn't so treacherous and we could go through there. But it's probably like from here, I would say like an hour and a half away. But when I think of a place that brings my soul joy, I think of living up in the mountains, surrounded by trees and wildflowers and tall grasses next to a river. And in a little cabin, a little bigger than this, maybe, of course, because this one's really small, but just, having I'd love to have a wood cooking stove. I know it'd get hot in the summer, but of course I'd like to have an outdoor kitchen with the cooking, the wood cooking stove outside. And just a big space for a garden, to grow a bunch of medicinal herbs for teas and, all of those things, and just our own vegetables, and if we could, whatever fruit that we can do, like right here we can, they grow apricots. We have I think my in-laws have 6 or 7 trees on the property. And apple trees, the wild apple trees, they have a lot of green apple trees out in this area. So that's what I envision as where I would choose to live. Probably in this same state where I've been, in the same area of northern New Mexico. Probably very close to where I'm at now. Maybe further up into the mountains, of course, because right here we're in the mountains, but we're too close to the interstate, and we're about at 7,000 feet above sea level, 74, and somewhere in between there. My hometown's at about 64, but my hometown is it's right at the edge of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains and the beginning of the plains. So my hometown is Las Vegas, New Mexico, and it's the Meadow City, the meadows, and it's right next to the meadows. And I do love that area, going out towards Tucumcari, and that's really flat and just you can see for miles. But I love my mountains. I love just being up in the mountains. I love the river, the rushing river, and how that it's so loud, but it just it drowns out all the noise. And even though it's going fast and you think it'd be all that energy or whatever, but it calms me. It's amazing. I just love it. I miss those days of camping up in Holman with my cousin and my aunt, my uncle, and just the river was right outside their property. It ran right through between one property and another. And there was a waterfall there that we used to get under, and we'd always have to go haul water, and we'd end up with half a bucket, and we were always wet because we were messing around. But we did have to, as on our defense, we did have to climb up a little bit of a hill, go under barbed wire fences to get the water, or climb down the hill, go through the barbed wire fence, climb down the hill, get the water, climb back up, come through the barbed wire fence, and so sometimes the water just spilled, right? We'll go with that. But yeah, I loved this question because it also makes me think of, that the day that we get to see Yeshua, Jesus, face to face, and I think of what I think my idea of heaven, paradise would look like. And when I sit and I pray, or I think of that part of my soul that needs restoration, that needs his healing touch, his, that because we know everything's going to be gone there. All this, grief and weeping and sickness and everything, it's going to be perfection in that, in heaven. And I think of what I envision when I think of myself sitting with him and how it would be. And I always if you envision myself childlike, I guess, running in this white dress. I don't know why it's always white, because I never wear white. I have one white dress, and that's an odd way that even happened. And there's even a dream that I had prior to finding that dress, and like not too long before, and then I see that exact same dress at Walmart. So I got it, and I have it. I haven't worn it in a long time. I think I have pictures of it somewhere. But anyway, I got off track there. And my camera is doing that little mechanical weird thing, so I'm hoping it doesn't mess up the video. But anyway, so I was in a white dress and just running through this like tall grasses, and there's wildflowers all over, dandelions and sunflowers, and there's just every imaginable wildflower that I see around here just growing all over the place. And there's tall trees, all the evergreens, all of our pine trees and juniper trees and cedar trees, and you know, everything out here, and just the river just off in the distance, not too far away. And I'm walking with him hand in hand, and we're just, you know, I'm trying to keep up, you know, and this idea of just being at peace. It just has this glowing, sunshiny, I don't know, feel to it. And I imagine that even here, even now, just having his presence in our lives, that can be a reality, you know, even with all the things that we struggle with and deal with on a daily basis. But that is where I would go. And like she said, with money was no object. Well, you know, I think about that. I'm like, well, then we'd have a, you know, 4-wheel drive vehicle that can get up into the mountains, and we can get down when we need to get things, and we'd be able to have everything we needed up there. We wouldn't have to be, you know, traveling back and forth to town so often to get things. We could, you know, have our garden, like I said, and be able to prep and can and do all the things that I've never learned how to do and would be awesome to learn. But that would be to me like one of the most wonderful things to have. Just a little cabin up in the woods, our own property, gardens. Although there is one other thing I would do at the same time. This would be like a wonderful dream together. While we have this tiny house, this tiny cabin up in the woods, I would love to have a bigger RV or even a school bus renovated, turn into a camper type thing that we could live in for a part of the year, whatever, and travel. I've always wanted to travel New Mexico. Like I have been to a lot of places here, but not enough of them. And for me, when I think about traveling somewhere, I want to go to all the campgrounds. I want to go through the national parks. Like right here, there's a national park like right there. I mean, it's right over there. And I think I've been there when I was younger, with school probably, but I want to go there. So that's one of my plans come spring. We're going to go and walk the park, or however much I can walk, and see what it looks like. But it's a Pecos National Park. There's Santa Fe right there. There is all the Wildlife Refuge, really close to Las Vegas, my hometown, which is only 40 minutes from here. And there's so much in between, so many little towns in between that I have been to, but not really in like where I could go and find a campground and stay and enjoy the place. And that's kind of what I want to do. And outside of New Mexico, I'd love to do the same thing. There's places I want to visit. I've never seen the Grand Canyon. I want to do that. And just go to places that, like the places within campgrounds, the places where you can see the parks, and the smaller towns where you can get those, what we call like the hole in the wall restaurants, or as my dad called them, the off the wall. Because we were trying to figure, he said, you know, the hole in the wall, no, he said, you know, those restaurants, you know, the little ones, the ones that are the off the walls. And I was like, the hole in the walls? So now they are called off the walls restaurants. And just, we found so many great places like that. Just like growing up, we used to do that. And then even, you know, me and Ben have done that, and I want to do more of that. That's my goal. So, you know, if money were no object, we could travel, all over the state, and then hopefully all over the United States. into Alaska. I know my husband would love to go to all the skate parks. I know he said there's some really awesome skate parks in California, and I don't remember where the other ones that he was talking about that he has seen. Um, I can't remember, but I do know there are some in Canada as well that he was talking about that he has seen, and I thought that'd be, while he does skate parks, I could do bookstores and craft stores and thrift stores, but like, this would be the dream, living in an RV or a bus and traveling with our pets. And I think that's really, like, I think about getting a vehicle, and I'm like, I'm always thinking, oh, going good on gas, right? So you get a small car, but I'm like, then how do I take our cats, my dog, and me and my husband, and the stuff that we need when we need to go places? Because when I want to go visit, like, I'd like to visit our family and have our own space sometimes, because we can't always, especially with our pets, because all of us have pets. My sisters, my brother, I know one of his brothers does. I think two brothers of his brothers have pets. But that way, when we do a visit, we can visit them, hang out, but we'd have our own space, our own RV, our own bus, whatever, and we can park either there or park at the RV parks. They have like the KOA camps, and there's so many in this area that I'd love to see. And of course, like Quartzsite, Arizona, Quartzsite, Nevada, Quartzsite, Arizona. I don't know, one of those places. I watched the van lifers. I love watching van life videos. But they go to Quartzsite. Geez, I cannot talk. And there's places like in Nevada where you can do like the BLM campground, like the land area, the Bureau of Land Management. So it's like free camping. There's no amenities or anything, so you'd have to have your own stuff. But there's a lot of little small towns close by. But you can, like, I think camp for 14 days, I think is what it is, in one spot, and then move along. So those are my dream, like, where I would live. In an RV or a school bus, some kind of thing, or even in, like, if it had to be something smaller than that, I would love the Ford Transit vans, the taller ones, although I'm 4'11", but my husband is, I think he's like 5'10", 5'9", around there. So, like, he would need a little taller, 5'10", I don't know. But taller than me, So I would think like the taller vans, we can have a lot of headroom, and then we could build some little walkways for our cats. And then of course we have our dog, and just to have some room to just take them with us. Even if it was something like that, I think we could deal with it. Although one of our youngest cats, Rami, our little tuxedo boy, which I haven't got him on video in quite a while. I do have some old videos of him and some old pictures. But he loves being outside. He is a night cat. He's out there all night long. He comes in about 6 in the morning after he watches the sunrise, or 7 in the morning, and now he's up there sleeping. He just heard me talking about him and turned around. But yeah, I think he would hate the van life. We'd have to figure out some way to have him outside. But those are like my go-to places to live. Would be up in the mountains, near a river, wildflowers everywhere, our evergreen trees, especially our pinon trees, to have pinon, and then to be able to use a pine sap to make salves and different things. I'd love that. And we have them right here. I could do that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, something I prayed for way before this was a thought of coming out here. I think I had started watching tiny house stuff. I don't know if I had seen anything with van lives or anything yet. I don't know. But there was some kind of tiny house things that we'd watched, I think, on, I don't know if it's PBS or, I don't know, some channels we used to watch way back in the day. They were talking about that, like, tiny house. And then of course, YouTube had some stuff. And when I saw that, I kept thinking, I would love to have a tiny house. And part of it's because I like having my stuff by me. And I don't know, it's like a comfort thing. And so that's where I thought about it. I started praying, God, just, let us find a tiny house, with on land outside of the city, and somewhere that we can have our dogs and cats, and it's safe for them, and we can have a garden and just kind of be at peace, right? Prayed and prayed and prayed. I think I even journaled about this. I've shared about a dream I had prior to us moving out here, where I heard a very audible voice in my dream kind of come out like of the east side of the sky, is saying, you need to get out of here by September 29th, half day. I don't know. Funny thing is, that started a lot of things happening, a lot of things, strange things happening, and people that were in my dream that I saw their faces, because I knew people were in there, but none of them, I didn't see everybody's face, but the ones who talked to me and that I saw their faces in that same time frame moved from Las Vegas, or from where they were living at the time. I think my brother was in Albuquerque at the time. But those are the people that I saw, and we all kind of moved very close. And one of my cousins, we all very moved close to each other. Or we didn't move close to each other. We moved close to the time that the other one moved. And it was all in the summer of the, right after, and that dream happened in that January. So anyway, so that's an interesting thing. And then of course things led to us coming here. I never realized, it took me about a while, about, being out here, to realize that I prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed for a tiny house. I'm in a tiny house. I am in a tiny house in the country, for the most part. Like, it's not deep into the country like I envisioned, but I'm in the country. The closest city is 20-25 minutes away. There is a little, like the Pecos, the village of Pecos is, it's still about 10 minutes in from where we're at. But it's a small place. The mountains are like right over there. They're not very far away. The river's not that far away. I'd say from us, we probably would drive like maybe 15-20 minutes to get to a spot where we could sit and enjoy time at the river. So, and we have pinon trees on the property. There's juniper trees that make me sneeze, but there's one right there outside the cabin. A few of them on the property. I think there's cedar trees. There's a bunch of apricot trees. There's an apple tree that's growing. There's a spot that I can have a garden, which I've had a garden before. It's tough out here because the soil here, it's very, very hard dirt. So it's been a learning process, but we have had our garden. And I have space to walk. My pets are safe here for the most part. There is wildlife. One of our pets Neville, our poor little kitty, he got taken by a mountain lion that came through our property twice and almost got Rami. We've had bears up in a tree right outside the gate that could just have come in. There's coyotes that come through here a lot, not in the yard, but right outside. So there is that danger, but there's less of what you'd have in a city with the cars passing by and rushing by. I mean, we do have the road up here, but they have such enough space in here that they don't really get out, except for Rami. He goes over to our neighbors to go eat her mice because she gives him treats, and she likes it because he goes and eats the mice. So she treats him well and takes care of him and watches him and makes sure that he comes home. And the road that he goes through there's not a whole lot of traffic all the time. It's rare. There is traffic, but it's not very much. It's just the people who live down there. And he pretty much, I think, knows how to deal with it. He did get away from a mountain lion. And yeah, that's another story. And I think I've told it before, but maybe one day I'll tell it again. But that's my, where I'd go. And of course I babbled on for long enough. It's about 28 minutes in, but would you guys like to answer that question in the comments below? I'd love to know, what would it be if money was no object and you could live anywhere in the world? Where would you choose? And thank you, Letty from Cling to Christ, for giving me that question. And I will get to your other question in the next video, because I do love that question. It's going to be a really great one for me to answer, and for me to kind of walk through and process some of the things that I've gone through in my faith walk. But I would love to hear from you guys. And if you have any prayer requests, leave them in the comments below. And if you have any other questions that I can answer in this Dear Diary series, anything, whatever you guys would like, put them in the comments below as well. And I will see you guys in the next one. God bless you. Bye.